All right, welcome back, folks. This is Uncle Jay. Tonight is the first episode of the rebrand. I still got some things I got to work out, but I just wanted to let people know that we're still doing what we're doing over here. We've started the rebrand. We've got it, almost all the way done. We've also implemented a show change. The show is now called On the Record with Uncle Jay, Power, Politics, and Truth. Tonight we have a special guest, Keith Loris. He's a good guy. We're going to talk about, what's going on currently in the Trump administration. We're going to talk about some AI stuff. So everybody, please welcome to the stage my guy, Keith Loris, also known as a Blue View on Twitter and Blue Sky. Welcome to the show, Keith. How you feeling tonight, my friend?
Thanks. I'm feeling fine. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and share, with the folks that are checking the show out, what are some things that you are into, what are some of your passions, and what you want to discuss tonight on the show.
Sure. Well, just a little background of myself. I've always liked political editorial cartoons, and they're quite old. They've been making fun of political leaders since the Revolutionary time. Some really mean cartoons about King George and stuff. Um, and their power for satire has always attracted me. So years ago, when I started getting into, at that time it was just Twitter. Now a Blue View is on Twitter, it's on Blue Sky, Mastodon, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, most of the places you get that sort of stuff where a Blue View is there. So do find me. Also Substack, just started a Substack channel. Anyway, I love to republish cartoons. The thing about a picture's worth 1,000 words, you could do things in a cartoon that you could just never do succinctly. And, the original Twitter and all the kids since then, Blue Skies, you have character limits. So there's a power in cartoons. I'm not a cartoonist myself. I can't draw. AI is actually helping me a little bit with things here and there. But generally, what I do, Jay, is I find interesting cartoons from each morning. I do this every day. I've been doing it for years. And so it's always very topical. Whatever is in the news, cartoonists react to that. I then am sort of a meta cartoonist. I take what these guys are generating, and there are brilliant ones, there are so-hum ones, and so on. And I kind of use that as input, and I come up with my own sort of spin on things, right? And so I use the cartoons to make their point, but then my own. The very act of picking and putting things together is kind of editorial judgments that I'm exercising. It all sounds very highfalutin, but if you go to a Blue View, I think you'll get it pretty quickly what I do.
Yeah, I went and checked out some of the stuff. Of course, we were introduced by Brian, and so I went ahead and I looked at some things. And you're also bringing light to some of the cartoonists, correct? Like you're helping get their cartoons out there so other people see them, because you got a pretty big following on Blue Sky, correct? Over 100,000 or close to
I
100,000
do Blue
followers.
Sky's about 100,000 across all. It's about 130, I would
Oh,
say,
okay.
25,000.
So
Yeah, so sometimes I'll get comments like, "You're not crediting the cartoonist." My typical skeet or tweet has 12 cartoons. I cannot credit 12 cartoonists, and there'd be no place for me to make any comments. What I do though is I always make sure to keep their copyright in there, and up in my bio, I credit them. It's their copyright, not mine. And if
oh,
people in a
okay.
comment ever say, "I like your cartoon," I always correct them. No, that's Peter Cooper's cartoon, not my cartoon. That kind of a thing.
And so you
Because
actually, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to
No.
say, because it's an ecosystem. I'm building on them, and hopefully they're getting new people interested in them by seeing me.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you actually know who these cartoonists are. You're not just taking their stuff and using it as your own. You're actually trying to
Correct.
help promote, these
Correct.
folks and get their material out there. So, what, how do you feel about what's been going on? These what 7 months is it? 8 months of the second Trump term. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings about what's going on and how he's taking advantage of executive orders, not listening to the judicial? What are some of your
I
thoughts on
feel
that?
like a German in 1939 Germany, and Hitler's in power, and his brown shirts are rounding people off the streets and meeting no pushback. I'm incredulous. I can't believe he won.
Yeah.
It's debatable, but anyway, he's the president. Uh, he won by an historically low margin, but not if you
Yeah.
ask
Well,
him.
let him tell it. It was a mandate. So
Yeah, well, so that's his problem, right? He believes his own lies, and he thinks that he's doing well, and he thinks he's just gonna make it economic statistics with the Sharpie, and there's no hurricane, there's no inflation. The thing is, there's a reality, and it's going to come and bite him. I think it already is. To jump ahead, it's a disaster. I mean, what he's been doing and the lack of pushback and obeying in advance by law firms and media organizations, it's just appalling. Uh, but but his most recent poll, Latino voters in Texas, he will lose. So they're redistricting, right?
yep.
In
Yep.
Texas, right?
Yep.
And the theory of that is that all these Latino voters, particularly along the border, who for the first time ever voted for a president, a Republican in a presidential election, the Texas Republicans are all thinking, okay, they got those guys forever now, which is a really stupid bet, right? So the most recent polls of Latinos in Texas is if the election were today, not only will he not get the vote support he got in the recent election, he will not get the vote support he got in Trump won when he lost the Latino vote.
Yeah.
So Mike Madrid is a very knowledgeable person I follow on this subject, and he recently put out that given the polling support in Texas right now, they redistricted those 5 seats. And what do they do when they redistrict, right? They take a lot of Democrats in a city and split them up amongst neighboring red districts. So in effect, if you think about it, every single district they've touched, they've made more purple.
Yeah.
They reduce the blue in some and they increase the blue in others, right? That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Now, so Madrid did this analysis and said, guess what? Those 5 seats they just created, if the election were held today and that poll is correct, they will lose 3 of those 5 seats. They would become Democrats. Okay. So, you got to be careful what you wish for, Republicans, right? When you lie to yourself about reality, economic reality, political reality, you delude yourself into thinking you won with a mandate, a historic mandate. You won with 1.4%. And then you went off and created this fascist revolution. And you think because Americans are not marching in the street that everything is going to be good for you. Assuming we have elections, I think he's going to lose bigly.
Oh yeah, I do too. I think 2026 is going to be a blue wave like we've never seen. And you talk about the Texas seats. The Republicans are already starting to have buyer's remorse with the redistricting because they're realizing that, like you said, they can lose. They can lose some of those seats that they just garnered through the gerrymandering, situation.
And the problem with the king is that nobody could be honest with the king, right? So he comes up with this lame idea, let's do this thing in Texas, and everybody's yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, even though they all know, oh no, we might lose these seats, but they can't ever say that to him, right?
Yeah.
And so, the problem is the collateral damage of all of us and what is going to be wrecked by the stupid things he does.
Well, let me ask you this. In all of your years, have you ever seen someone galvanize the Republican Party the way Trump has? Like, I don't understand what is wrong with the Republicans. I don't know why they just can't get off this guy. It's like a toxic marriage or toxic relationship, an abusive relationship. A woman with a man who beats her and abuses her and she leaves, but then she always goes back. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Like, they've had so many opportunities to cut this guy loose, and I just don't get what it is. I mean, does it just boil down to just hate? It's just hate. They hate the same people he hates, and it's just a hate driven political party now. I mean, is that what it is?
I personally think it's a difference between voters and politicians. I think the Republican politicians who never, ever in my wildest dreams would ever think, yeah. We should be owning Intel and we should be owning parts of NVIDIA. And then he turns around and calls Mamdani a commie. It's hilarious to me, right?
Yeah.
Where are these free market Republicans? They're all putting up with it. The politicians, they're terrified. The ones who had a backbone have long since left the party. The ones who have made it to this point, they're stuck. They're trapped now. I mean, Murkowski is ridiculous. She's talking about she's afraid, and then she still votes for this guy. You know, she votes for his policies. She votes for his things because they're all terrified for their political lives. The voters is a different story. Okay. I think the voters, I think it's part of what I said earlier about finally somebody understands me. You know, I think there's a big dose of they're racist, right? And they're misogynist. And he's giving license to that. All of a sudden they can come out of the closet, right? To mix a metaphor.
Yeah.
But I think the politicians, it's mainly fear, right? If they had the courage of convictions, they would have quit long ago, right?
Yeah.
But it still happens. I mean, you pointed the woman to the CDC a month ago. A month ago, she was fine enough to nominate and get approved, and now she's out because she wouldn't do what Kennedy wanted.
And he's another wackadoo too, brainworm. I mean, come on, he is nuts. He's going to cause a lot of people in this country to die with his anti-vax shit and all of the garbage he's spewing. You know, with don't listen to your doctors and all of this shit. I just don't get it, man. It's like I look at the Republican Party now like a player in a Texas Hold'em poker tournament. Like they're pot committed at this point. They can't find their way. They can't get out of the pot. They've already committed so much to the pot that they're pot committed, and they're just gonna go along. They're gonna get along to go along, and they're just gonna hope that when it's all said and done, that he leaves in 2028, which I don't believe he will. I believe it's going to take the military to get him out of office, because if you listen to him every day, he sounds more and more like a dictator. And now he's starting to say things like, well, I got people coming to me saying that, they want a dictator. And, I don't say I'm a dictator, but they say we need a dictator. And then, it's starting to get really scary, man. And so for a father of, 4 daughters and 2 granddaughters, I'm very concerned about where this country is headed. But, with
I'm with you, Jay, but the last year's election was an eye-opener, right? I mean, I am very motivated by democracy. Sounds like you are too. What was eye-opening was that most Americans are not. They don't actually care about that, right? And economics was the most important thing to them. So personally, in my blogging and what I post, I actually try and avoid cultural issues, okay? And I definitely avoid Trump's distraction of the day, whatever he's putting out, right? I really try and focus on economic issues, right? And because that's what's won the election. All those politically apathetic, low-info voters who tuned in 2 days before the election, they said, oh, he's going to be better for me. No deep thought, nothing more than just, oh, he was on TV, he's a rich guy. Whatever the calculus was, they did. But that's the population. That's what we have to overcome. And I think from that perspective, the tariffs are a disaster for him.
Yeah.
All throughout the Biden administration, Democrats kept saying, but the inflation numbers are good, and the GDP and the per capita income, all these statistics look good. All right. And then we lost the election because people lived experience wasn't like that. Trump is replicating that on steroids. It's why he fired the BLS person, right? Because he doesn't want the statistics to show it bad.
He doesn't want true statistics out. Yeah.
Right. He's going to say all this lovely stuff. The problem is nothing has gotten cheaper.
Nope.
Okay. Since Biden lost, everything's gotten worse.
It's gotten more expensive, to be quite honest with you.
And now the tariffs are kicking in, and they're going to do a real number. The issue I am really focusing on, and I'm really trying to get Democrats, organized Democrats, to really focus in on, is the threat of AI to job losses. And if you give me a minute, Jay, let me lay this out for you.
No, you go for it, because that was going to be where I went next with it. So
okay, perfect.
Take us right where you need us to be.
This is a golden opportunity for the Democrats to help the country and themselves. So if you think about it, one of the reasons why we're suffering with the Trump regime is that the Democrats were very slow to recognize the devastation and disruption globalization did to blue collar workers, factory workers, right? The jobs went overseas, and we we use this excuse, well, we have job retraining programs, we're going to do this and that to help the workers. We didn't focus on that enough. It wasn't a big enough an issue. Trump, he's not smart, but he does have good political instincts. He saw that, and to a large degree, that's why he's president, in my opinion. Okay, what AI is about to do to the workforce makes what globalization did to factory workers nothing. It's a piece of cake. So the Ford CEO recently said half of white collar workers are going to be laid off because of AI. The CEO of Duolingo said they're only going to be new hires only if managers could prove that AI cannot do the job. CEO of Salesforce says up to half of the work of the company is now done by AI. And so AI is about to create truly massive disruptions to white collar workers' lives, right? Half of white collar workers are going to be unemployed if you believe Jim Farley of Ford, right? So I feel like we kind of missed the boat on the globalization and the blue collar worker, but what's about to come is far worse in terms of job loss, right? And how do I know that? Well, there's a canary in the coal mine, which is computer science, right? So I actually have a master's in computer science. I actually have a bunch of patents in neural networks of AI, right? So okay. I know this at a pretty intimate level. And when I graduated, a computer science degree was considered a golden ticket. You are set for life, right? You're gonna have no trouble finding a job ever. Well, computer science students and computer science programming jobs, recent graduates, it's very easy to automate with AI. Everybody in the company understands AI. They're all computer nerds. So computer science or computer programming jobs is hitting, AI is hitting those jobs before anything else, okay? And that's the sense of the canary in the coal mine. It's giving us a warning. So do you know that right now, computer science graduates are less successful at getting jobs than art history majors? When I read that statistic, it blew me away. Art history majors have easier times getting jobs out of college than computer science graduates do now.
Oh, that's crazy.
Why? Because AI is automating all the entry-level jobs. All right. And so I think the young are going to bear the brunt of this initially, but ultimately, everybody is saying, well, AI makes mistakes. Yeah, but give it a break. It's just been invented.
Yeah.
It's actually so computer technology, the hardware, this thing called Moore's Law, it doubled every 18 months. And if you've got gray hair like I do, I remember the first computers, they were nothing. Yeah. And now we have these amazing devices, that we all carry around. That's because every 18 months, the actual hardware power increased. AI is increasing not every 18 months, it's doubling every 6 months.
Wow.
Right? So yes, AI today is pretty good for first draft. It's not a final of anything, right?
Yeah.
But if your job is listening to words, taking words in, thinking thoughts, and spitting out words, you're at risk of being automated. Your job is at risk of being automated away. All right. Analysis, there are lots of people today. It's computer science graduates. It's customer service reps. It's certain jobs are at the sort of the cutting edge. I did a post today where you can see the employment trends and over the years, and all the age groups of computer science people go up, except younger people is going down, right? And that's because AI is in there. As AI gets better, it's not just going to be the first draft anymore. It's going to be the final draft. Think about a law firm. The entire business model in law firms is you hire a lot of very well-paid law school graduates at the bottom who then do like slave labor. They work horrible hours, but they get paid a lot of money for doing that, right?
Yeah.
And they count on it being a horrible job so that over time, most of them quit. and a couple people at the top make a lot of money because they're getting a piece of everybody's time.
Yeah.
That's the legal business model. What happens when you don't need all those people at the bottom anymore, right? So people in law school right now, I would be terrified, right? Like, are you going to get a job when you come out, right? Why would
Yeah,
somebody
'cause you
hire
weren't.
you when, forget about the law firm doing it, your customer can use the legal AI. You don't even
Yeah.
need a law firm necessarily, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to get really bad out there, right, in the future. I think it's a serious problem. Now, the thing is that the core people going to get hit are the young, because they already are, and then it's really office workers, right? It's white
Yeah.
collar workers. But to a large degree, white collar workers is kind of synonymous with college educated voters, and they vote Democratic. Okay, 55% of them identify or lean to the Democratic Party. All right, it's 61% if you have a postgraduate degree. So there were two natural constituencies for the Democrats: these white collar, college educated workers, and young people, who this AI wave is going to be hitting. Right, and it's an opportunity. Now, there's an interesting kind of tie-in to Zohan Mamdani, right? You know, what's his line? The rent is too damn high, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The core Mamdani supporter is an office worker, okay? They earn roughly $70,000 to $140,000 a year. They're his core supporters. They're college educated. That's where a lot of the energy is coming from. Now, I've been focusing on white collar. Obviously, AI is also going to hurt blue collar. Unlike globalization, which is more just a blue collar, AI is going to take out lots of people, job opportunities. And so this is a message, I feel like, that we can help move AI forward. I want to be clear. I'm not opposed to AI. As I said, I studied it. There's a lot of good things that can happen from it. But the way it's working right now, where it's purely for the rich and it's going to maximize profit and throw all these people out of work. I mean, one example is Silicon Valley. They're so worried about, because they see it, right? Sam Altman, those kind of guys have talked about we need to do universal basic income, right? So these AI leaders are saying, oh, you know what? We just got to give people money because we understand we're going to make so many of them unemployed, right?
Yeah.
So this is a real opportunity for the Democratic Party to ride a very big wave well into the future. It's not just, I mean, his Medicare cuts, everything Trump is doing, the big, those are all horrible. Those are good issues to run on. This is a fundamental society issue that really sort of encapsulates many other economic issues, and people are starting to see it. And you can't. The Democratic Party often is like running around. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And they're reactive. Here's an opportunity. It doesn't take much deep thinking to, as I've done here, lay out some examples, right? And you can see how it works, right? Let me just quote from something here, all right? To hopefully, and then I'll let you jump back in here.
Okay.
So Donald Trump saw massive disruptions to blue-collar workers, and he proposed big, fanciful solutions to lessen the pain. Both parties initially dismissed and demeaned the solutions because they were unrealistic and practical. Build a wall, tariffs, that's all ridiculous, right? But his supporters didn't care about their practicality. What they heard is they heard that he cared about and would fight for him. So they voted for him. Zohan Mamdani sees massive disruptions to white-collar workers and proposed big, fanciful solutions to lessen the pain. Now, too many established Democrats have dismissed and demeaned his solutions. Free rent, that's crazy, right? Because they're unrealistic and practical. Yet a large majority of New York City's blue and white-collar Democrats didn't care about the practicality of Mamdani's solutions. They read them as signs he cared about and would fight for them, so they voted for him, right?
Gotcha.
So that's the direction I feel like we need to do. I think a really good start is the Democratic establishment needs to get behind this guy, right? But I just feel like there's this coming disaster that's happening, and I see only the Democratic Party is in a position to have that be done in a good way, whether it's universal basic income. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not saying don't deploy AI, but it can be deployed in a way that it will not be as destructive.
Well, I mean, Elon
Mute.
was one of those people who was like, "Oh, we should just cut him
Jay, I think you're
checks."
on mute. I'm not hearing you.
Can you can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Hold on, give me a second.
I don't hear you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear me? Okay, good.
You can't hear me? Oh boy, hold on, give me a second.
Technical difficulties.
Hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
It says you're muted. The symbol on your...
Oh. I'm not muted anymore. Why is that? Hello? Give me 1 second. Hold on. What about now? Can you hear me now? You can't hear me? This is crazy. Can you hear me, Keith? Still can't hear me? Keith? What the hell is going on here? Oh, what is going on? You can't hear me?
I don't know.
Testing. It says that it says I'm it says I'm up. Hold on. This is getting... Orientation settings are disabled while live. Audio testing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? I don't know what's going on. Can anybody hear? Can you hear me now? No? I don't know what is going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? If anybody can hear me, please post in the chat. This makes no sense. I don't know. Hello, can anybody hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You can't hear me? I can hear you.
I don't know.
I can hear you. I don't understand how you can't hear me, though. This is crazy. Is there a... Oh, my goodness. I can hear you. You can't hear me. This is crazy. I can hear you typing. Wow. What the hell is going on? I don't understand what the hell is happening. What about now? I don't know. What about now? No? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I don't. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No? Still can't hear me? This doesn't make any sense, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. Here, this shit is driving me nuts. I don't know. This is crazy. This has never happened to me before. Can you hear me now? I don't know what the hell is going on. This is crazy. What about now? Can you hear me now? No? Hello, folks. Can you just let me see something here? I'm having some difficulties here. Hello, folks. Can you just let me see something here? Yeah, give me a minute, people. I'm having a bit of difficulty. if anybody is out there, if you cannot hear me, would you please comment in the comment section and let me know that you don't hear me? Because I feel like we're having a technical difficulty where my guest can't hear me, but you all can. So I'm gonna bring him back to the stage and see if we've gotten it worked out yet. Are you? Can you hear me now? You still can't hear me? No, you still can't hear me, huh? This is crazy. um, I don't know if it's on my end or on his end. I believe it to be on his end because.
Okay, so it's not me.
Oh, it's not
It's
you?
not me. It's not me.
Okay. All right. So it's not you. It's got to be on my end. All right. I don't know what is going on here. This is driving me crazy. I haven't done anything wrong differently. Let me see if I can't.
He can't hear you, right?
Can you hear me now? This isn't how I wanted the first. All right, well, let's give him a minute, see if he can reboot and see if it's on his end. It won't even let me bring him in now. Can you hear me now? Please tell me you can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I am so sorry, everyone who are watching. I don't know what happened. I think we had some kind of issue on either my end or on your end. But I'm glad that it's fixed because you were cooking. You were cooking. No, I mean you were dropping some knowledge, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? But okay, we seem to be back. Everything's back up and running. All right, so now I'm kind of lost. Where were we now? We got it. Now we got to kind
I
of
was
get back
making an
to.
argument of how artificial intelligence could
Got
be
you.
a
Okay.
big issue for the Democrats. It's going to hurt a lot of Americans, but some
Yeah.
natural Democratic constituencies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I can see it. I mean, we already see it here in my city with automation, AI automation and such, with like fast food joints are started to implement automation where, they ain't got any workers, they've got maybe 2 workers in the entire joint and everything else is order through the kiosk and it's all craziness and the lines now it takes you, it's not fast food anymore because it takes you, an hour to get your food. And
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, you know what I mean? And we talked about how Trump ran on the economic and telling people thinking that he was going to be there and do for them. I mean, but he really hadn't done anything because the price of eggs may be down a bit, but everything else is through the roof. Steak, beef, chicken. It's crazy, man. It's
Yeah.
insane. And
Yeah.
I don't know where we go from here. Now, uh every day there's a new distraction from the fact that people can't feed their families. They try to sneak in. Well, now let me ask you this because about the AI, what did you think about them trying to sneak in the verbiage of having AI on, they didn't want to have it like what were they were trying to do? They were trying to have it not be regulated. They wanted it unregulated for like 10 years. They
Yeah.
had that in the big beautiful bill, but that it eventually was taken out. Well, let me ask you this: if they would have gotten their way, what do you think they would have done with AI with it totally unregulated?
It's totally unregulated now, right?
Oh, it
So
is.
that was an attempt to prevent a future regulation
Oh,
when
okay.
we see the problems. I mean,
Oh,
that's kind of
wow.
making my argument is that I gave examples earlier about white collar workers, but
Yeah.
4 million people drive trucks for a living in the United States.
Yeah.
It's a blue collar profession. It actually pays pretty well. You do not need to go to college to do it. And that's truck drivers, that's Uber drivers, that's, Amazon delivery guys. And they're making self-driving trucks. This is not like a future thing. This is in the next few years. Those 4 million people are going to start to get laid off. What is the Democratic Party's response to that? Do they think they should just let Bezos and Amazon decide how that happens? Or is there something we can do?
Well, what do you think they can do? What do you think they should do? Like if you had the ability to sit down with the Democratic Party and the politicians and say, this is what needs to be done, what would your advice to them be? Like what needs to be done? Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I didn't even know it was unregulated. You just opened my eyes to it. I thought that there was regulation to it, but now you just made me aware of something I didn't know. So,
well, it's not just the New York Times is suing OpenAI because they say that OpenAI stole their intellectual property to train up their neural network. So no, it's not regulated.
wow.
They're just scarfing everything on the internet. Your video is going to train some AI system, this podcast, right? And you get any money from that? No.
No, absolutely not.
I don't actually know what the solutions are because, again, I don't think you can resist technology. We don't ride horses very much anymore. They're cars. But there are better and worse ways to do things. And I think the main thing for the Democratic Party is to acknowledge the problem and get voters to understand, see, this is the thing about Democrats, because so many are college educated. They want nice solutions and they want a 25-point policy paper before they talk about things. Okay. Yeah. Well, computer science graduates are not getting jobs right now. Right. When do you want to start talking about this stuff? Right. So I think messaging, awareness, and together we can come up with policies. Maybe universal basic income, UBI, is actually a solution here. I don't know. There are various ways to do this. But I mean, one part of the thing is right now, all the profits from AI are going to go to the people who run these companies. Okay. Is that fair? They're being trained on everybody else's data, right? Your podcast is going to train somebody up, right? I think there's a range of solutions that we can employ, retraining, things like this. But the main thing is, I think voters need to understand that the Democrats see a problem and are on their side and trying to figure it out. It doesn't have to be a perfect solution. It could be even more of a statement of direction, like free rent or free grocery stores, right? Voters are smart enough to know, okay, that's going to be hard to do, but at least he's trying. At least he's thinking about me. And he's not being this, wishy-washy Democrat.
Yeah. Well, we got a guy here, is Mag Gumby. He says, you guys are definitely mentally ill, but that's okay because you live in a bubble. Do you see the comment?
I do.
So what I would ask him is to please elaborate. You have the ability to elaborate in the comments. What makes us ill? What makes us live in a bubble? I don't understand why you feel we're mentally ill and we live in a bubble. So if you've got something to say, please continue. See, that's the thing about it. These people, they're always quick to have some kind of ignorant comment to be made, but they don't have any solutions. What's your solution, my friend? What would you advise we all do, with the price of groceries and such and everything else that's going on? I won't even bring up the Epstein shit because every day there's some new distraction from that crap, and it's like... Yeah. I just read a report today where in Missouri, the Democrats were against child marriage. They allow for 12-year-old girls to be married off. Yeah. And it's sickening. Like, when did we become a country? And I don't want to kind of like jump from AI and then take it into this whole Epstein thing, because I mean, I'm just so exhausted from the whole Epstein thing. But I do have one question for everyone out there that is watching, and for people who watch after we're done. When did we become a country who protects pedophiles? When did we become a country who not protect the children, but protects the people who take advantage of children? I mean, I don't get it. It's crazy. I don't recognize the country we live in. And again, I asked this guy here to communicate why he feels the way he feels, and he got nothing to say. So it's like,
I can speak for him a little bit.
go
You
ahead.
know, I think it is mentally ill to pretend a national sales tax is not going to impact inflation. It's not going to cost people money. So the tariffs are a national sales tax, right? It's a tariff. Trump has just put a 15% sales tax on imported goods. Every imported good, at least 15%. Okay. Now, if I live in Massachusetts, if liberal Massachusetts instituted a 15% sales tax, MAGA would go nuts. But somehow this import tax, 15% tariff, is okay. All right. Now you might think, okay, well, import.
You're breaking up, Keith.
So there, Jay? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. You were breaking up a bit. If you could just repeat what you said, you were kind of like in the
Sure.
blender. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just reacting to the mentally ill, how MAGA ignores the reality of a tariff being a sales tax. So let me give you an example. In Trump's first term, he put a tariff on washing machines to protect Maytag, specifically Maytag. So LG machines and Korean washing machines got a tariff. All right. It went up 20%. Guess what Maytag and Whirlpool did? Did they keep their price lower, 20% below the imported prices, so they could sell a lot more washing machines? No. They raised their price 18%.
Yeah.
Okay. So the tariffs, the 15% on every imported product, that's not the biggest problem. The problem is domestic manufacturers are all going to raise their prices equivalently.
Yeah.
A year ago, I bought a shade. You see the shade back here?
Uh-huh.
From Home Depot, that shade cost me $45. I recently bought a new shade. It was $85. Same exact shade 1 year later.
Yeah, it's insane. My wife has got these she's got these hoity-toity shades where they don't have string, or they just have the little knob to open them. They you just lift them, right? They don't have the string like the old time.
That's what these are. These are like that.
Yeah, they just have the ones that you lift, and they kind of like just connect and you go up. I mean, she bought a bunch of them. She had to buy one to replace in the my daughter's bedroom because the dog got to it, and it was like, almost $90 for one of them. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It's insane.
So, who's mentally ill? Who's denying the reality, the economic reality of a tariff being a tax? It's not me.
No.
It's not people. It's not the blue people. It's the red people who are deluded and thinking that this is not going to drive the price of everything through the roof.
Yeah, it's already happened. I mean, now you see that all these countries are suspending shipments to America. I mean, what's going to happen? There's going to be a lot of sad kids come Christmas time, when parents can't get the shit that they want for Christmas and such. But I don't know what else to say, man. It just is mind-boggling. I'm gonna eventually have a guest on. I'm gonna have you come back on when I have this guest on, because he's a psychologist, and what we're gonna do is we're going to like kind of tap into what the psychology of MAGA and a Trump supporter is, you know what I mean, and see if he can't give us some insight into what makes these people tick. But if you follow social media and you look at some of these red states around the country, they're starting to get they're starting to ask questions. They're starting to run their local representatives and their congressmen and senators off the stage and out of these town hall meetings, because they're beginning to see the bullshit now. you know, and they're realizing that, you know, they're sending the National Guard. I mean, sending the National Guard to DC when it's the red states with the highest homicide ratings. I mean, if we're going to talk about, I mean, hey, Google is free, people. You know, AI is free, folks. Go, you know, go and do your research, because it's not.
What do you think
Go
of
ahead.
what Gavin Newsom's doing and
Oh,
how he's
I
attacking
love
Trump?
it. I love it. I think they all need to be doing it. That's what you do to a bully. You stand up to a bully. Like when I was growing up, you know, I didn't like bullies. When I saw somebody bullying somebody, I was the one who who took down the bully, and that's what you need to do. You know, the whole and believe me, I love Barack Obama and I love Michelle Obama, but you know Michelle Obama line where when they go low, we go high.
Yeah,
That is out the window. I mean,
yeah.
I love her to death, and at one point, that's what it was. Yeah, when they go low, we go high. You know, but now we got to get in the mud and get dirty with these people, because if we don't, like you said, we're already losing democracy. Like they don't even care. I see people on this app, and I don't know if, you know, people are paid to say this outlandish crazy shit or if they really believe it, but there are people actually in this country calling for Donald Trump to be a dictator. Like they want him to be a dictator. They want dictatorship. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's just trolling and it's just people trying to make money, because you know the grift chain or the grift train is big business now. They've all jumped on board, you know. And so, and like I said, you know, I could have did the same thing. I could have turned and went that way and could be making big money off my podcast and big money off my Twitter account, but I would never sell my soul to these freaking idiots, you know, for some money. I'm built different, and you know, like I said, I've got 4 beautiful daughters and 2 granddaughters, and I want them to be able to grow up and be in a country that's safe and where they have their rights. They are now trying to go after the ability for women to vote. Like they're really trying to, you know, attack the women's ability to vote, get loans. They want to repeal the amendments that allow women to vote and get loans and financial, you know, abilities and such. So, I mean, it's crazy. I know you only had an hour. You wanted to only you were only able to commit to an hour. We're having a great conversation. We're 53 minutes in. I know we had that bit of technical difficulty, but you know, is there anything else that you want to discuss real quick before I let you go? Because I don't want to keep you longer than you wanted to be. But I mean, we're having such a great conversation. But you know, I will definitely have you back on, and we can do it again. You know, I know that, you know, it's getting late, and I don't want to hold you up too long. But is there anything that you want that you need to promote? Go ahead and let them know where, you know, let everyone know where they can find you on all social media apps, and you know, give us some last words, and we'll go ahead and get on out of here. And can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So you didn't hear anything that I just said?
No, I
Oh
did
my
not.
Lord. So what I was saying is I know that I said we're coming up on the 54-minute mark. I know that you only wanted to go an hour because of the time, you know, because of the time. So what I was saying was we've had such a great conversation outside of the small technical difficulties that we had. Is there any last words that you want to throw out there, and then let everybody know where they can find you on all social media apps? And we'll talk offline, and we'll work on a way of getting you back on, so that, you know, we can have another discussion at a later date without the technical difficulties, of course.
Yeah, I would love that. I feel like it was. If
Yeah.
anybody's still following us, I'm
Oh no,
impressed.
we've got 32 people still viewing, and I'm sure
Oh,
there's
okay.
a lot of people on Twitter, and I've got 2 accounts on Twitter and YouTube going right now, and we've got 33
Okay.
people watching now. So,
Yeah,
but
I would love to come back and
for
maybe go through
sure.
it more coherently. Yeah, so people can definitely find a Blue View. As I said, it's on Twitter, it's on Blue Sky, Mastodon, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr. So,
Soundtrack, I think you said too, right? Is that
oh, uh, I forgot what the last one is.
okay? No worries. All right. Well, and you got anything coming up?
Substack was the last one.
Yeah, that's what it was. You got anything coming up? Anything you working on? Anything that you hope to achieve? You know,
One of the
forward?
things, one of the ways I'm channeling my energy, because nationally I feel like I'm beating my head against the wall.
Yeah.
Is I've been tweeting a lot about blue states and how the blue states could counteract a lot of what Trump is doing. And I know a lot of Democrats focus, like I historically focused, on the national level and don't really pay attention to state politics. But I've never been as happy to live in Massachusetts as under the Trump regime, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York State, so
okay. So if you're in a blue state, I think it's time to start paying attention to state politics. I mean, you know, the famous example is California's redistricting, like Trump is doing.
yeah.
But there were a lot of little tiny things. Okay, so today I skeeted that Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maine, Rhode Island, and a bunch of states, 6 states, are getting together around vaccines. So Kennedy and the CDC. It turns out in Massachusetts, if you're a pharmacist, to give out a new vaccine, you have to be approved by a specific CDC panel before you're allowed to give a vaccine as a pharmacist. Okay.
Wow.
There's no sense that RFK is going to let this panel do that. So there are 344 CVS stores in Massachusetts that cannot give out a COVID vaccine. So to be clear, you have a prescription, you're over 65, which even Kennedy says you should get a COVID vaccine, right? But you can't go to a CVS store and get it because they require the CDC panel for it to happen. So Massachusetts and 6 states are talking about making their own version of the CDC panel.
Oh, okay.
So that's just a small example, Jay, of how blue states, especially working together, it's a federal system. There's a lot of power in the states.
Yeah.
If they get together, they can counteract things that Trump is doing. I don't know what to tell you if you're in a red state, but if you're in a blue state, get on your local politicians and your state politicians so they start doing stuff to protect you. That's the big thing I'm working on right now, Jay. I'm actually going to the Mass Democratic Party convention I've never gone to before in my life for exactly this reason.
Well, why don't you document it? And you can come on. We'll do another episode. You can come on, and we can post the footage during the episode, and you can show us how it all goes. And you know what I mean. You can share it with the audience, because I can bring I can show what we'll do here is we'll get this ended up. I'll have you go down. I'll drop you down to the green room for just a moment. I'll do my thing, my outro video, and then we'll have a quick little post-show conversation, and then I'll get you out of here, okay? All right, so again, I want to thank Keith Loris for coming on tonight and speaking with us about AI and everything that we talked about. Again, folks, sorry for the technical issues that we had. We're going to have him back on again real soon. I want to thank everybody for, tuning in. Again, still working on the rebrand. And again, we've changed the name of the show to, On the Record with UncleJay, Power, Politics, Truth. And, we're going to get some other things straightened out here soon with graphics and such. So just bear with me. But again, thank you all for tuning in. And I want to say, stay blessed and always go Bills. I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan. So go Bills. You a Patriots fan? Yeah. Patriots fan? Yeah. We got a lot to talk about. All right. Give me one moment, boss. Okay.
Sure.
Stick around.
This, a reintroduction, conceive this, a whole new genre to breathe with and reproduce. So smooth on the mic and the light, my own moves, give it life, right from my own view. Words mature and then grow groove, I'm a soul improved, work on me, wake up in the morning just to work on the beat. So intuitive, that's how I gotta be when I'm in tune with the boom and the God in me. It's true, never lose that, I never come through with the loose rap. Tighten up, time to enlighten them, striking like lightning and hope I don't frighten them. recited for you to get you excited and hype. Move with the rhythm tonight, beautiful type. Women in my inhibitions, I'll move to the side. Music's my only religion, surrounding myself with only musicians. Only the best, solely uplifting. With this combination, my music is infinite. Ideal situations, stimulate them. Wanna inspire and motivate them. My goal is take them to a higher level, let the pain escape them. It's euphoric, are you for it? I promise I know you have a use for it, so let's use it. Get into it, no matter what we call it, it's soul music.
Thanks for tuning in to the Uncle Jay podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and catch us next time. This is Uncle Jay signing off. Stay blessed and always go Bills.